I'm gonna leave, I'm
But
gonna leave that all in the clip right there. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Kingpin Talks podcast. I am your boy, Dunn, the Kingpin, and along with me is my three of my favorite brothers and sister. Uh, Nate, I'm gonna start you off at first. How you doing tonight, my brother? How you doing?
doing pretty good, my good sir. Just get ready to enjoy this Thanksgiving holiday. How about yourself?
Man, who you tell, man? I'm doing good, doing pretty good, man. Next, man, I got my boy Ant PMT playoff mode tone Conley in the house. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, man? Excited to be here talking with y'all, and like Nate said, looking forward to the holiday this week, spending time with family and all that. So
All
excited.
right, all right, and bringing all back from last month's show. She was a uh she was a rookie on this show, first time, and she blew it out the water. We had to bring her back. So welcome, Courtney Coffee with Court Edwards. How you doing, sister? How you doing?
What's up, y'all? I am good, brother. Thank you for having me again. Pleasure to be here. Just like piggybacking off what everybody else saying, man. Ready to eat and give the Lord a praise.
I know
Amen.
that's right. I know that's right. And welcome to everybody in the chat, man. We glad that you was able to join us on tonight. Got the moderator searching the stores going on my brother's search. I see Courtney putting here Sandra Stevens. Sandra, welcome all. Welcome all. Glad that you're able to be here on tonight. We ask that you will like, share, and subscribe this show because you don't want to miss this and upcoming shows that we got so long the way. Tonight we're gonna be talking about a very interesting topic. We're gonna be talking about embracing uncomfortable changes in life. And we know that embracing uncomfortable changes, it's not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not for the weak, as they say. But sometimes you have to you reach a point in your life to where you have to make those changes. You have to make those adjustments. You have to make those decisions that's going to affect you in your everyday life. And come to find out, it's important, it's imperative. And it's either at that point you either gonna change or you're gonna allow life to change you. And when life changes you, it's usually not for the better because at that point you're not in control. um it's not your decision to make. So it's best that when the opportunity for you to change comes and it presents itself, that you would just go ahead and change for the better. So I'm gonna throw it to eat it. We just gonna go around the table on tonight. We're just gonna dive into it. And of course, chat, we want y'all to blow that chat up, blow it up with your questions or comments as always. And we'll go from there. So I'm just gonna pass it around the table. Whoever want to go first can go first. And you can talk about um what changes in your life had you have to make that was uncomfortable.
I think I started off first then. I actually am excited about this topic right here because you do have to embrace change when you are taking any step in life, whether it's a job, career field, anything that you change, any change you make is gonna be uncomfortable because I mean, last year I took a leap to working into the maintenance department in our county. Of course, you know that done and went from transition to a whole different thing. Was more physical, and it's an adjustment when you go from doing a particular thing for several years and then you're stepping into a whole other lane. You're on a different work schedule. That's one thing you got to get adjusted to. New work environment, because one of the things that was different for me is like I'm one of the youngest guys at the job, and that's a challenge to me because it's a lot of things like we're all around the same age range. So what we might operate doing, the older generation, they're kind of like they're not familiar with it. So they may be a little more judgmental on particular things that you might do on a regular basis that's okay with you. So I think the biggest thing about embracing change is you have to be willing to know that when you're making that changes for a good reason. It's gonna be scary. You're gonna be nervous out the gate, but the beauty of making the changes, most times when you're making a change, it's for the better, or you're being placed in that position because you're built to do that. You may not realize you're built to do it at that moment, but overall, you're really built to take that next leap of faith or next change in life, because it's easy to get thrown off when you're taking a new step in life. Because for me, it was a nerve-wracking experience, because I went from the comfort of having that balanced schedule, having, because once you do a schedule for so many years, you get accustomed to it. When you step into a new lane, it's like, for me, am I going to last in it? So change is going to definitely bring about some good and sometimes some rough things, but it's all about knowing that it's going to benefit you in the long run. That's what it's ultimately about when you're embracing change. As uncomfortable as it is, once you do get comfortable in it, you're going to go back. A year ago, I was saying, I don't know how I'm going to get adjusted to this. Now I'm like, why was I even nervous? But that's what it's all about when you're making change.
Yo, man, that's some great, very good points, and thank you for sharing that as well, brother. Yeah, um when you find yourself in a position where you've been comfortable in for many, many years, and all of a sudden you have to, switch that up. I mean, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be nerve wracking at first, because you're trying to learn a new system of doing things, and you're taking on more responsibilities that you've never had before. But at the same time, it gives you an opportunity to learn things about yourself that you didn't know. And that's one thing about changes. You begin to learn more about you, and you begin to learn more about what you're capable of, because as long as you're staying in that place of complacency, and just stay in that place that doesn't promote change, I mean, you're not gonna really learn anything. You're not gonna really learn any new trades. You ain't gonna learn how much strength you have. You ain't gonna learn how much intelligence you have until you really put yourself out there in the deep. And that's one of the things that hinders us from changing, is that we don't really know the unknown, and our curiosity of the unknown, that be the thing that hinders us at times of changing, because we want everything to just come at us all at one time. And life don't work that way. You go to one area and work yourself up, then you go to another area and work yourself up. And life is all about progression. You're not going to see the whole on plan until you really reach that finish line. So that's some very good points right there. I'm gonna throw that on Ant. So what changes have you had to make in your life that was uncomfortable, but it worked out in the long run?
I mean, I think we're all kind of reaching that age where, we're coming up with different goals for our lives, whether that's like professional, personal, like spiritual. And, you realize that not everybody that you've known in your life, or people that you may have been close to at one point in time, they're not going to be able to make that journey with you, especially in regards to making changes in your life for the betterment of your situation. And in order to orchestrate that change, you have to apply more discipline to your life. Whether that's people trying to go from an apartment to a house, or you're trying to purchase a new vehicle, just different things that, like, hey, I gotta start saving money. I gotta be more disciplined in how I'm approaching my life. And sometimes, and I think we all can, this resonates for all of us, like, you have friends that you may have told, hey, I have this goal that I'm trying to reach, and they're really not supporting you in that. Like, if you're trying to save money, this person might be like, hey, like, let's go grab some dinner, let's go eat out, or let's take a trip, or just do things that might be considered frivolous as far as your financial spending goes, and that's going away or taking you farther away from what you're trying to accomplish as far as your financial goal is concerned. And that's just a part of growing up, that realizing that not everybody has the same mindset that you have. And it's not that you necessarily have to eliminate that person out of your life completely, but it's like you just kind of have to understand that that maybe you just got to take a step back, and that they can't really go on that journey with you, because they don't have that same mindset and that same level of maturity, and that same level of discipline. And that's, that's tough. That's a tough part of going through life, is realizing that people that you care about don't necessarily have the same value system in place. And then after that, you just kind of start, moving accordingly. But, that's a part of, maturing and growing up and, moving through your life, just different phases, obviously. So.
Yeah, very well said. And one of the key things that you said is that when you're changing, certain people can't go with you. And I feel like that's one of the main issues that we run into when we have to make those changes. We want everybody involved when we make those changes, and we have to understand that not everybody is going to be with you doing those changes, because at the end of the day, the change starts with you. You
Yeah.
know, can't nobody else do it for you. You have to do it yourself. And I use this analogy all the time. Um, when you're flying, when you're going on a flight, there's a certain weight limit that that plane can only carry. And when you carry too much luggage, you end up overweighing the plane, and the plane ain't gonna be able to take off. So what I mean by that is that during your life, when you try to carry extra luggage with you, you end up overweighing yourself. You end up overweighing the purpose that you have, because you're carrying unnecessary baggage. And unnecessary baggage can be people, it could be habits, it could be mindsets, it can be emotions, it could be a plethora of things that you're trying to carry with you while you're changing. And so the most important thing is that you cannot take everybody with you. If that person isn't agreeing with your change that you know that you need to do, then they're not the people that they need to be with you. And
Mm-hmm.
we have to understand that people are only with us for a season. And when it's time to change, I mean, it's no hard feelings, but at the same time, I have to do what's best for me. We all have to do what's best for us at the end of the day, because it's not any use if we sitting around here pouring ourselves out to people and not pouring back into us. So, very good points right there. So, later of the hour, I'm gonna throw it at you.
Not the lady of the hour.
Later of the hour.
Very good points being made so far. I do want to piggyback on something Ant said when it came to just talking about people and seasons, and how, sometimes you can't take people over into a different season. And even you said that, bro. But I have this saying that I've tried to adopt in the last couple of years, and it's, if you can't grow with me, you can't go with me.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Right? If you can't grow with
Absolutely.
me, you can't go with me. And that has kind of helped me to adapt, in embracing uncomfortable change. One thing about change, y'all, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. My mama used to say, everything changes except the word of God. The word of God is the only constant thing that, no matter what, it will never change, right? People change, seasons change, the time itself changes. Um, we can change our minds change, we change, everything changes, right? And so, because change is inevitable, I think if we just start to kind of look at it in a different light and look at it in a different perspective, it will kind of help us to, because it's going to happen, So if you look at it from the angle that, okay, I understand that it's going to happen, it helps us to kind of embrace those uncomfortable changes, whether it be personally, or physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever the case may be. I mean, I can't tell you how many changes I've had to endure over my lifetime. But the older you get, I guess for some of us, the wiser we get, and you just kind of learn those skills to be able to embrace uncomfortable changes. I know one for sure, in my personal life, is just leaving everything that I knew back in Alabama, taking a chance to come to Atlanta with nothing. I only had one friend here at the time, and I risked it all. It was very uncomfortable. I did not have the comfort of my family. I didn't have the comfort of an army of friends. It was just me and God, honestly. And I stepped out on faith and I embraced that uncomfortable change. And here I am 7 years later in probably what I would call, maybe not the peak, but I'm at a really good place career wise that I never would have landed had I not embraced the uncomfortability back there. And so I want to encourage people that there's great things. There's a next level on the other side of your fear, right? So if you can just get past that moment of, or that little space of uncomfortability and fear, and you can just kind of step out on faith, there's a new level that you can unlock, that God wants to unlock for you, but it's going to require you being uncomfortable for a short time and embracing change. And one more thing I wanted to say, I think, Don, you started off mentioning something that made me think about it. When it comes to changing for ourselves, and because that's going to have to happen at a certain point in life too. We have to personally make changes, whether it be our behaviors or whether it be, maybe something physical concerning our health. At some point in your life, we have to make a personal change. And so I've been listening to a really profound pastor, and he made a statement that it just made so much sense, and it stuck with me. So I just want to share it with y'all. But he was talking about changing, right? And he was just talking about, he made a comparison between a snake and a dragon. And he said, a snake is something that you have the ability to change, but you won't. That's when it's in the snake phase. You can change it, but you won't do it. But then if you don't take action and go ahead and make that change that you need to make, it then turns into a dragon. And a dragon is harder to defeat than a snake. You could just cut the head of a snake off and it's done, right? But a dragon is way more, it's bigger and it's harder to defeat. So he says a snake, you can change, but you won't. A dragon, you want to change and you can't. So I wanted to put that out there, even when it comes to, change and personal change. If you have something that you need to work on and you need to change in your life, and you still have the ability and the mind to do it now. Don't put it off. Don't wait. Don't allow it to keep growing and growing and growing and until it turns into this dragon. It could be bad habits. It could be somebody that you're dragging along with you that you need to cut off. It could be anything, but don't allow it to keep festering and growing until it turns into this dragon and you get to the place to where you wish you could change it and you can't. So that's my piece on uncomfortable change.
Ooh, man, oh man, oh man.
Okay, with that heat.
Man, that caliente. It's so true. Like, it's so true though. When the change is small enough for you to handle at that moment, just go ahead and knock it out. Go ahead and knock it out. And that's one of the many problems, if I could be transparent, that's in my life, that I've had to deal with in my life, is that I at times try to change when it's too late. When the thing has turned into a dragon, and now I'm faced with this dragon, and I'm like, dang, like I should have changed it. I should have killed this when it was a snake. I should have killed this when it was small. And I had the strength enough to change it. But now it done turned into this big old dragon. I'm like, well, God, how am I do this? But at the end of the day, he still gives us an opportunity. He said he'll make a way of escape for you. And just because it's a dragon don't mean that it's going to kill you. You just now have to put in the extra work to kill the dragon, because like Courtney was saying, and it was just so profound. When it's a snake, you can just swoop one good time and the head is cut off. But with a dragon, you're gonna end up having to work even harder to kill that thing. And at the same time, I mean, you gotta pick your battles. I know we say that all the time, is it's cliche, but it's real. You have to learn how to pick your battles. If a problem is a problem, just go ahead and knock it out. Because at the end of the day, not only can it be a detriment to you, it could be a detriment to the relationships that you're in. It could be a detriment to your purpose. It could be a detriment on your job. It could be a detriment to anything that you put your mind and your heart to. I mean, you don't want those things to turn into dragons. Go ahead and kill those things while they're snakes and while they're small, and that you're capable of handling them. Because and humans, we have a tendency of being complacent. We have a tendency of being tardy. We have a tendency of just being late on tackling stuff. It's just if procrastination seems to be in our DNA, but it's not in our DNA because procrastination, it's a snake. Just got to chop it off, chop the head off, and just keep it moving. So when something needs to be changed, just go ahead and change it. And if you cannot change it, if you need help, talk to somebody, because that's one of the main things as well. We have to learn how to reach out. We have to learn how to express ourselves if we need help in an area. You do not have to do this by yourself. And I've said this so many times, and I believe it's become so prevalent in the African American community. We just have a tendency of just reserving everything, and we feel like we need to just hold everything in, especially in our changes. Now, I'm not saying go out here and tear everybody your business. I'm not saying all that, but to the people that you can trust that's looking to change, not only within themselves, but are only that are there to help you during your change, go talk to them, because they're there to help you. They're there to assist you in whatever you need. So very good points, everybody. Very, very good points. And you got to learn to embrace, and we know the word embrace, it means to hold tightly. You got to hold tightly to those changes, and you got to realize that it's those changes that's going to make you realize, the whole picture the whole time. Because like I said before, you're not going to realize the whole picture. You're not going to be able to see the whole picture until, like Ant said, you have to take that step back and look at the whole picture. Because if you're too close to the thing, you won't see the whole thing until you just take a step back, take a breather, take a second to be like, okay, this is what I need to see. So Tevin Reckless said, left my job when I was 4 years, took a leap of faith with my new job / career, hated it. I was super uncomfortable. 7 to 8 months later, I'm a lead. Yeah,
that's how it works.
That's exactly how it is. When you're starting off in a new position, a new relationship, a new area, it's not going to be easy, because you're
uncomfortable.
It's super uncomfortable, because now you're having to learn. It's like you're having to relearn. You've already got this one area pat down. Now you transition to another area. You got to learn this area now. You got to deal with more things, more people, more responsibilities. And at times it's going to be unbearable. It's going to be unbearable. It's never meant to be easy, but as long as you put your mind to it, you can accomplish it. You can change. So anybody else had anything to add on that part right there?
I want to add on to that's the previous comment. That's one of my best friends, and we definitely, I know he don't mind me sharing a little bit of this. We had this conversation last year when it was definitely tough for him to make that leap, but I was proud of the fact that he was willing to make that change, and that speaks to the fact that a lot of people. One thing for everybody that's watching, don't sleep on your talent. That's one of the key things you cannot do in life. You are obviously being placed in this position for a reason to take that leap of faith. Because a lot of times people will question, am I able to make this leap? Am I gonna get this? What? You have to sometimes stop letting the what ifs dictate your future. When you're taking that leap, the what ifs will answer itself along your journey. And that also goes along with you making the change in your journey called life. Because ultimately, as Dunn just stated, we are not meant to stay in the same complacent place for the rest of our lives. That's why you hear people say sometimes in the statement of sometimes good things must come to an end. Sometimes you're not going to always be at this position. You see that in sports. You see that in any type of position. Sometimes you will be in that spot until you're no longer valuable to be in that particular spot. So the number one thing that you want to do in life is dictate your future. Make it where you're always in control of where you're going to take the leap in life. The thing I loved about what Court said, when she took the leap years ago, she's now in control of her future with her career. And a lot of times people allow a situation to stay and fester for so long. And then when it's time to make that leap is, okay, what am I doing? Never stop elevating your talent because there's something that you're sitting on somewhere. It could be a particular business opportunity, a job opportunity, anything that you have been questioning. Should I take this leap? Should I take this step? Should I go for this? Should I go for that? Don't be afraid not to do it, because I promise you, the 1 month of thinking about it may turn into 3 years, may turn into 5 to 10 to 20. You don't want to be in that predicament. And ultimately, everything takes time. Us doing this show right here, it takes time. You have to, and that's what I love about the fact of and I have to show him his flowers right now on the air about my brother Dunn. He took this leap of faith a couple years ago with this particular show. And it's step-by-step progressing every single step of the way. But you have to be willing to take the leap of faith, especially when you are starting something from scratch. And that goes into life. If you are starting from scratch, it is fine. I don't care if you're starting over. But the ultimate thing is this. You have to remember you have a path that you're aiming to reach, that you're aiming to accomplish. And ultimately, change is going to bring that. So in a lot of ways, a lot of different things can bring change to your life. Like for me, for an example, and it's funny, I might actually throw this comment because I was about to talk about this. Darrell said that for uncomfortable change, it comes in the form of death. Sadly, you're so close with a person that now that the person is gone, so you have to reprogram yourself in a way because you'll never be the same. And this statement rings true because I actually was about to tie into this, and Don knows, like, just to give you guys a personal note, we didn't get a chance to do the show because I had to go tend to my grandmother. I lost my granddad early in the year. Our lives have changed since. So you never know when life is going to change for you. The ultimate thing is, how do you navigate once life changes for you? And it may not necessarily be in a negative way, but you have to be willing to always know how to embrace that change, know how to value those changes, because life is going to continue to bring it. And not just even in the form of death. It's in everything that you take a step for in life. So I encourage all of you, continue to embrace that change by praying about it, just walking in your faith. Because if you lose sight of your faith, you lose sight of the changes you're trying to make. You get comfortable being in that comfort zone, and it ultimately leads to you no longer being happy with the changes that are coming in your life. But I'm gonna pass it over now.
That was some good points right there. And one of the things that you said that just stuck out to me, you said it was just so many good points. It was just right there. Sheesh. You've been saying so many good points. That's what you said. So you were saying that don't let nothing dictate the change for you. You dictate your change. You know, at the end of the day, you have to make sure that the changes that you want to accomplish in your life, make sure it is you that's doing them. Make sure it's you that's driving them. Make sure it's you that's got a handle on those changes and not anybody else. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to feel obligated to change, or you're trying to please somebody else in changing. Because if you're being pressured into changing, then it's not going to be fruitful. Because at the end of the day, you didn't make that decision to change. You let somebody else or something else dictate that change. So when you dictate your own change, it's fruitful because you can look back and say, you know what, I was there, but now I'm here. I put the work in when I was there. Now I'm here. I'm able to reap from it because I dictate the change and not anybody else. Um, I started this show back in 2020 at the start of COVID. Um, have I not had those moments where I wanted to throw in the towel? Yes, I have. You know, I'm human, but at the same time, I realized that hey, in order for me to have this show where I want it to be, I have to make those changes, which means I had to make those changes in my mindset. You know, I had to make those changes around my, you know, my atmosphere, you know, things that would distract me from making this show successful. I had to get rid of those things. And so not everything comes easy. You have to work for it. But at the end of the day, if you work towards those things, and you know you're dictating your change, then it's going to be successful and you're going to be able to reap from it. And that's all I had to add so far. Either Ann or Courtney can take it from there.
I do want to add. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Aunt.
No, go ahead, Courtney.
No, I was just going to add. Sometimes when you're talking about change and having to embrace, you know, that uncomfortability, we have to also remember that whatever change we're facing, a lot of times it's not even about us. It could be God trying to work through us to get to somebody else. And so, us refusing to change or us wanting to stay in that stagnant place and not willing to stretch ourselves or not willing to go that extra mile to do whatever it is that God is challenging us or calling us to do, we end up hindering somebody else or really hindering ourselves too, because one thing about it, if God don't get you to do it, he's gonna get somebody else to do it. So we miss out on our own blessing, you know, by not embracing the change and just kind of going on through with whatever it is that God is challenging us to do. So I just want to remind everybody and myself too that, you know, when you're faced with a change and you're making it about you and you're making it personal, we got to remember it ain't even about us. It's not even about us. A lot of times God is trying to use us to either get ourselves somewhere or to help somebody else get somewhere. So, you know, when you take self out of it and we become more selfless, you know, I think we become more like him and we are on that path of fulfilling purpose.
No, for sure. The last thing I wanted to add to this section, I guess, is just beware of people that sometimes you'll have people in your life that know they can't go with you on the journey, and they'll purposely try to hold you back because they don't want to get left behind. And so just have to be careful. And there are normally signs that you can pick up on that will allow you to identify that. And I mean, it can be friends, it can be family, it can be coworkers, acquaintances. Like, it varies, but you really, especially when you're in a growth phase of your life and knowing what's on the horizon, just being able to identify those individuals and adjust accordingly is super important. And understanding that, hey, maybe I need to eliminate this person from my life completely, or maybe I just need to take some time away from them. But just having, being able to discern that and really keep moving at the pace that you're supposed to. Super important.
Yeah, very, very, very important. Very important. Very important, y'all. And that's if there was one person I could name that helped me with changes, is God. Because at the end of the day, if he facilitates the change, you just gotta drop everything and just go with the change. And we say this all the time, and it's become more of a reality than a cliche. We say Jesus take the wheel, but sometimes we don't even want to get in the car. I heard somebody say that a couple of weeks ago. We say Jesus take the wheel, but we don't want to get in the car. And there was a time where I wanted to even get in the passenger seat, but I'm at the point to where I'm like, okay, God, just throw me in the trunk. Because when you get thrown in the trunk, you don't know where you're going. You just got to trust God. You gotta trust him. I
That's
mean, you gotta go with the flow. As they say, you just gotta go with the flow, his flow. Because wherever he takes you, it's not gonna be bad. Like you have to know that he has your best interest at heart. And it's the best thing that you could have ever imagined if you just give him a chance. And one of the things about it is we have to incorporate him in the change, especially when it's him that's wanting to change us. You know, he's already given the he's already putting that mirror in front of our faces, be like, hey, I need you to work on this, need you to work on that right there. And it's still up to us. I mean, at the end of the day, we still, like Nate was saying, we still dictate not change because we can either change that stuff right then and there or not. So, and like Courtney said, you want to do the change when it's a snake or a dragon. I mean, the choice is yours. And sometimes we don't understand the power within our choices. Like the power within our choices is so prevalent to the point to where it has to be taken care of. Like it's got to be utilized in the right manner because you can't let anybody steal that choice from you to change. And I feel like that's the most important thing that we're trying to stress to each and every one of you is that don't let anybody dictate your change. Don't let anybody dictate your life. Don't let anybody dictate what you need to do. You know the goals that you want to reach. You know the changes that you want to make. You know where you want to go in your life. So don't give anybody else that access, especially the ones that don't have any best interest in you whatsoever. You know, we all have those spectators, we all have those fans that just sit in the stands and just cheer, but they're not really on the court or field, whatever you want to call it. They're not there assisting you, they're not there throwing you the ball, they're not there helping you score. Like they're not helping you at all. They just want to cheer, you know, when you're down in the dumps. You know, they don't see about you, they don't want to hear nothing from you. But then when you reach that high place, they cheering as if they helped you along the way. Like, no, you wasn't here. You wasn't here. So you have to, and one thing change will make you realize, it'll make you realize the people who's in your outer circle and people who's in your inner circle. You know, when you change, you will begin to see those people who for who they really are. And you will realize that the people who seem there with you wasn't really there with you all the time. And the people that seem like they wasn't there with you, they really was the one that's there with you. And one thing about change is you got to accept the truth. And like that saying goes, the truth hurts, but it'll make you free. The truth hurts. We all don't want to accept the truth at times, but it's easy if you just tell the truth. I mean, you just got to admit the truth. So, anybody had anything else to add on top of that?
I gotta add to what you just said. I love where you're going with that because ultimately people do have to come to a realization. It is okay to be told if you have the people in your circle that carries the value enough to tell you where you need to improve on. That's where you need the value in your life because you're gonna have a lot of yes men that's gonna hang around, yes men or yes women that's gonna hang around just because they feel like, hey, sis gonna make it to the top, bro gonna go this direction. You don't need a individual like that in your life because ultimately, when you because everyone's gonna have a stage where it's gonna get uncomfortable for a moment, and that's when you find out who really got you, who really is gonna push you to that next level. It's easy to ride for. That's like a team. That's like a sports team. It's easy to cheer your team on when they're winning, but when they're losing, you don't want nothing to do with them. It's the same thing with life. It's easy to cheer an individual on when they're getting the accolades, when they having the money, when they having the nice things that you see on the outer. But when they're struggling on the inner or going through a change that's supposed to better them and you don't see the vision, that's when you find out who's supposed to go on that journey with you. And ultimately, also remember this, God put people in your life at a particular time for a particular reason. If they are not bringing any type of value of how this is the direction I think you should go, or this is the direction that I feel that I'm fully supportive of you going after, they need to go. And also, you also don't want to have yourself around an environment of people who are bettering themselves as well. Oh my God. This is not the time right now, Darrell.
I saw
Not the
that.
time.
That's,
I'll deal
Oh
with it on
man.
Sunday.
that's
Anyway,
crazy.
Oh man.
anyways, threw me off. Talking about
Lost your
but
power.
They've been throwing you
oh
off
Lord, that's a
completely
topic
with
for another
that.
day. But the one thing that you have to that I've always valued, I know me and Don talk about this a lot over the years, is you want to have people around you that are doing great in their own lane as well. All of you together collectively can build each other up that way. If you see your fellow friend, your fellow brother, your fellow sister out here progressing as well, embracing that change, taking that next leap of faith, because if you've seen the groundwork that they started off and you've seen the next level, it's easy to post when you earn that accomplishment. But behind the scenes, you have no idea what the individual went through to earn there, to get there. And that's the time where the strength of your bonds, the strength of even your own journey is being built. So you want to have that around you. But if you have a person that the only time they want to come around you, they'll hear your story out, but then it's like, okay, so how can this value me? They don't have any purpose in your life. None. Because for them, they got complacent. They have to go through things in life in order to step out of that complacency. And that does not require for you to be a part of that. So you have to be very, very mindful of keeping, that Don mentioned it earlier, of keeping particular weight around you as you progressing in your journey. Because it can be detrimental to you because you've held on to it too long. So you don't want to put yourself in that predicament that you holding on to it too long. What you want to do is make sure that along your journey, you continue to be mindful of who's saying that they're proud of you in that moment when they're seeing this little by little steps. It's so
That's
easy to
good.
get congratulations. I'm proud of you when you have the big accomplishment every day. And by the way, also, let me throw this out here to all of you. Make sure you congratulate yourself on the journey. If you don't do that, you're going to lose sight of where you're going because you're always aiming for the ultimate vision. If you accomplish that one assignment, you accomplish that month at your job, that year at your job, that year in this career, that in school, whatever you're going after, salute yourself first and foremost, because there's going to be days where you're going to have to be your biggest cheerleader when you take that next step in life. So I encourage you to keep that in mind on your journey. Don't lose sight of that because you're seeing, and also let me throw this out here, and I know this might be a little off topic, but don't let social media dictate the way that you congratulate yourself.
Oh
Just
boy.
because that other
That's a good one.
individual just made that major accomplishment, they showing it right now, you don't know the days they put in to make it happen.
Right.
The struggles they went through, the setbacks they went through. Keep that in mind. That when by the time you see that major accomplishment, just know it was a step by step process to get there. And that's what I have to say on that.
Man, yeah, man. That I mean, we talked about that whole social media thing a couple of months ago. You know, we have to stop allowing social media to dictate. Some people allow social media to dictate a whole lot of things, and it can't be that way. I mean, it can't be that way. That goes right along with things that don't have shouldn't have any influence in your life. You're allowing those things to become an influence in your change. And the most important thing at the end of the day is, you have to differentiate and you have to learn how to let go. I mean, that's one of the things that we have problems with at times, that we don't know when to let go. We don't know how to let go, and we don't know when to let go. And sometimes we don't even know why we need to let go. It's just it be a whole plethora of things that we need to let go when we're changing, but we still want to hold on to them because we feel like, oh, if I change, I ain't gonna be able to do this no more. I ain't gonna be able to do that no more. I ain't gonna be able to think like this no more. And why do we have that mindset for? I mean, isn't the purpose of change is maturity? Isn't the purpose of changing is going from one place to another? Is that the purpose? So why would you want to hold on to things of old? Why would you want to hold on to old people, old things? And I'm not talking about old as an age. I'm talking about old as in, the past.
Sure.
Things that used to bring you enjoyment and fun. Some of those things gonna have to be let go. I mean, you gonna have to sacrifice, and that's one thing about change. You have to sacrifice, and that's one of the things that we struggle with as well. We want to hold on to everything. We don't want to let anything go. We don't want to sacrifice. And that's the key. You have to be able to sacrifice. You have to be able to lose yourself to gain yourself. And that's the most important thing. I'm gonna throw it to either Ann or Court at this time. This is good.
I mean, y'all preaching
Yeah.
real good. Y'all done said everything I thought to say. Y'all preaching mighty good tonight.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of echo something that Nate just said, it's like on this journey of life, it's like be prepared for setbacks and failures. And that's just that's a part of the game. You know what I mean? And that goes back to what Nate was saying about just kind of enjoying the ride and celebrating your successes. Even, the little ones, the small ones. But yeah, I mean, you're going to take in the journey where you're trying to elevate yourself and you're kind of going through this uncomfortable phase of your life to see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's like, you're gonna have setbacks. So it's gonna feel like you take one step forward, two steps back, and that's okay. You're running your own race. Like don't compare your life to what you're seeing out here on social media or to what you're seeing even in your friend's life. Sometimes that may not be your journey, and that's okay. Just being able to feel comfortable in your own skin and what you're experiencing at this point in your life is super important, and people need to learn how to embrace that as a part of the journey and not get disappointed if their life hasn't unfolded the way that they wanted it to. Everything takes its time. Everything has its own timing, ultimately. So
Yeah, that's good, man. Go ahead, Courtney.
No, I wanted to add, as Ant was talking, it made me think about something when it comes to change. And I was thinking about even in the whole congratulating yourself piece as you go along, as Nate was talking about, that is so important. And it made me think about something that a lot of times we do that we actually kind of need to watch out for. A lot of times we get in a position where we change, right? But we change for the wrong reasons.
Mm,
We change because we're trying to satisfy somebody else. We change
exactly.
because we're trying to, the men or being, to be with somebody else to make somebody else happy, or because we think we're benefiting somebody else. Don't do that. Don't do that. Change because it's what's best for you.
Mm-hmm.
Make the decision because you need to change for yourself. Don't make a change based on somebody else or trying to get somebody or be friends with somebody. Like, unless it's something, like a character flaw that you just need to be better on. But even still, you got to make the change for yourself because it's the right thing to do for you, and not
mhm.
because it's the right thing to keep a friendship or keep a man or keep a woman. Do it for yourself. Always do it for yourself. Change starts with you, and it should be for you, not for
Absolutely.
somebody else. I just wanted to throw that in there.
100%.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. Great point. And there's nothing wrong with being selfish when you're changing either. You don't have to include everybody when you're changing. Hey, bro, hey sis, I'm changing today. Like, okay, and I mean, just congratulate yourself on those small changes that you've done, on those small accomplishments, and just keep it moving. I mean, some people have this mentality of want to include everybody when they're changing. You know, hey, look at me. Like, they have their own change they're making. So instead of focusing on getting an applause when you're changing, how about you applaud yourself? I mean, that's the biggest applause that you can ever get in life is yourself. Um, that's the biggest applause that you will ever get. I mean, so what you don't get adulation from people. You know, there's gonna be many things that you do in your life, and many people ain't gonna see it. But do you see it? Do you see the change in yourself? Can you go back and say, you know what? I used to do this last year, last month, yesterday, and now I don't do it anymore. That's a change. That's a change. You've eliminated, you didn't necessarily eliminate a habit. You stopped doing something and replaced it with something else that's more positive, that's more meaningful to your life. And so that's what changes are really about. And um, like we said on tonight, embrace the uncomfortable changes in life. You know, yes, they're uncomfortable, but at the end of the day, you have to embrace them. You know, you have to embrace them and know that you have the power, you have the authority, you have the strength to embrace those changes, and not only embrace them, but go through them, accept them. Don't deny the change that you need to make in your life, because you never know, that could be the very change that you need to make that can unlock every door in your life, that
Yeah.
can unlock every talent that you have. You will never know who you really are until you embrace those changes. You will never know what you're capable of until you embrace those changes. Oh, I don't know if I can do that. Why are you down yourself? Don't doubt yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Yeah, you might have messed up yesterday, but don't that doesn't mean that you can't change today. There's always an opportunity. Every day that you wake up, every day that God puts breath in your body, it's a new opportunity for you to change. Don't ever put yourself in a situation where you feel like you cannot change, where you cannot be better, where you cannot improve. Life is all about progression. It's all about progression. And whether or not you choose to stay in those dumps, that's your decision. You can't blame your mama, can't blame your daddy, can't blame your siblings. You have to blame yourself if you don't make those changes. You have to blame yourself if you don't get to the level in which you need to be. So,
True.
and that's one of the things that I have to learn, because I don't think I gave my one of the changes that I've made. So the change that I've made is now I'm getting to the hang of what it really means to be a truck driver. And I never realized the type of responsibility, the type of work that it takes to be a truck driver, because there's days that I work 10, 12 hours. There's been a change in hours, there's been a change of days, you know, there's been a change of situations. I mean, you never know. I might have a blown tire, you know, or load went wrong. You know, it's just a forever revolving door of changes. And it, you know, it's taught me how to just work on the fly, because you never know what may happen at any given second, any given minute. And we know how these folks drive in Atlanta, you know. So um, but things like that, I mean, I never knew that I would be here. You know, I never knew that I would be in this position I am right now. So from coming into a place where I was working in a warehouse to now, it seems like I'm by myself on the road. I mean, it's a big adjustment. It's a big change, and it's a change that I've embraced, because for the first time in a long time, I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is what I'm supposed to be doing, and it's going to bring me closer to one day being an owner operator, operating my own fleet, operating my own trucking company. So you never know. It be those little things in your life that you change, they'll lead to something bigger. And that's another key. You never have to aim big. Yes, you want to aim big, but at the same time, don't forget those little things as well, because you never know, those little changes will lead to that bit result that you want. So I just wanted to throw that out right there. For anybody that had any comments.
I want to add one thing to what you just said, and I'm kind of glad you hit this. I'm not gonna be long with it. What you was talking about, sometimes you have to embrace the little things as far as the changes that you make in life. There's one thing Don knows is very well. for me, for the longest time, like most mornings, I always send like inspirational messages out, like throughout the week. And for a while, I was going through that. Everybody has that moment of wanting that appreciation, but not realizing why you were doing something in particular until you start receiving the impact and start hearing how much you are a blessing to an individual just by you simply encouraging them, putting some positive knowledge into them. And that continuously receiving those positive words, hearing how you impact the particular person's life, it inspired me to go after get a psychology degree. And I'll be done at the summer of this upcoming year. But it's something like you just stated. 2 years ago, I made that decision because of something fine I was doing that I never even thought would be something I want to pursue in life long term. So really take heed to what Don just said about valuing the things that you might think is minor in your life, because it could be the thing that could ultimately lead you to the career change that you never expected. I'm gonna pass over to Corey.
All right. Well, in my final thoughts, guys, I have to, and I apologize. I have to wrap up. I got some work stuff that I have to do, so I'm sorry that I can't spend the whole time. But I just want to say, the sooner that you learn to embrace change, the shorter the uncomfortable season will be. If you truly embrace it, change. The quicker you do it, sincerely, the shorter the uncomfortable season is. And not only that, if we learn, again, that change is inevitable, and we learn the importance of change, if we change our perspective on it, again, like I said at the beginning, it makes it easier to embrace. But one of the great things about change, y'all, that I want us to always remember or highlight is that change is actually a blessing, because it helps us to not get complacent. Change keeps us on our toes.
Absolutely.
Change keeps us alert. Change keeps us on that learning curve and understanding that there's always something to learn. There's always another level. There's always room for growth. So when we really look at it, as uncomfortable as it may be, change is really a good thing, even though we fear it, even though we dread it. So I just want to encourage everybody, as I'm encouraging myself, to really change your mind about it. When you have that moment of fear, remember that change is what pushes us into that next level. Change is what keeps us on our toes and not in a place of stagnancy, which we never want to be there. It keeps us out of that place of stagnancy, and it keeps us, in a posture to be able to grow. So that's my 2 cents on it, y'all.
Yeah, I mean, the final thing I'll say is just, I think we pretty much said everything there is to say kind of concerning the topic, but like, I heard this at a company I worked at previously. The only thing constant in life is change. And the sooner you become aware and comfortable with that idea and move, accordingly based on that, I think the smoother your life will be ultimately. So.
Well, very, very, very wise thoughts from each and every one of you. And ain't no much I can say after that. But embrace those changes, man. You'll never know what you can do until you embrace those changes. And we want to thank you, each and every one of you, for joining us on tonight. And not just because of this show, but speaking of changes, right. We about to go to some big changes. We've been talking on the side, and with the changes and everything going on, we got a very special announcement. So, drum roll, please. You need it? Had to do it 2 times. Do it 2 times. Oh, okay, stop. We present to some and all the King's Court podcast. We are collabing together. This is a very special project that we are going to embark on. And this is a major change that we all are going to embrace. And I, for one, am elated to be working with such a talented group of people. They're not just people, but they're my family for real. I've been knowing Nate, Courtney, and for a while. Very good people. I wouldn't want to work with anybody else podcast wise but these three lovely people on your screen. And I'm excited for the King's Court. I'm excited for what we're going to do. We're going to have more smoking hot topics just like this on the channel, and I can't wait. I'm gonna turn it over to Nate for any words that he have to say about this journey right here.
Hey, I'm excited for the opportunity, and I am super excited to have Court a part of the journey with us. She came on the show and she absolutely blew the show away.
Yes, she
and did. She had to be a part of the family going forward. And
yes,
everyone's gonna love everyone. If you haven't found the love of her already, you're going to. So I'm glad to have Court a part of the team now. Of course, I was already excited to have Ant, and me and Don been doing this thing for 3 years. So big opportunity for us. I'm excited. I'm definitely excited.
Oh yeah, definitely excited. I'm definitely excited. Definitely, I'm throwing some either and a Court. They take it away.
I just want to say, go for it, Ant.
No, just super excited that Courtney's going to be a part of this journey going forward, and I feel like she brings a certain passion and different perspective, and I'm looking forward to the things that are in front of us.
Great, awesome. All right, later the hour.
Right, I guess I'll cap it off, y'all. It's just such an honor to be here. I am so elated. I count it a true privilege and an honor to be among 3 great kings. It's just a pleasure to be here. As Don said, we've been knowing each other for a very, very long time, been family for a long time. And I'm so just elated to be connected now to Nate and Ann as well. And just happy to bring a female perspective to the podcast. I'm super excited about what we're doing going forward. I'm always hyped for the topic and for the challenge, and I look forward to next month and even launching off in the new year. I think King's Court is going a lot of places in 2024, and I'm just looking forward to where we're going.
Yeah. As soon as and I'll be so remiss if I did not say that she is the one behind this logo. She the one that came up with the design and everything. So she did a marvelous job. When she said the King's Court, I'm like, King's Court. I'm like, you know what? That sounds pretty good. I like that. I like that right there. But like she said, we're just looking forward to what God has in store for the King's Court. I already know he has some great things in store, some great topics. I feel like people are going to be touched by what we have to say. And at the end of the day, we're just his vessels. We're just his vessels that's here to bless y'all with wholesome content. And like Courtney said, we've been longing for that female perspective on this channel. And when I reached out to her, she didn't hesitate to say yes. And from then on, it's been wonderful working with her. It's been wonderful working with her, and we can't say enough how blessed we are to have you with us on this journey. I know Ant eventually gonna have his own channel. Looking forward to that, brother. Get to work. It's time. Can't wait to be on his channel as well. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this is going to be taking us. Eventually, we very soon we're in the process of working on the YouTube channel. We're going to be getting the Instagram, Facebook. We're going to get all the social media, and I feel like we're going to be so big as to where we're going to be having merch on here. TKC merch. Can't
Agreed.
wait. Can't wait to rock it. But I'm excited. Tonight has been a very, very it's been a very exciting night. And I just want to thank y'all for joining us on tonight. Thank y'all for the chat, man. Y'all been amazing. Like I say all the time, we don't make the show, y'all make the show. And we thank you to each and every one of you that did not count it robbery to join us on tonight. Very short, I feel like this is our shortest show. But it was good nevertheless. It was wholesome, and we just hope that each and every one of you was blessed by what you heard on tonight. And just remember, embrace those changes. Embrace those changes that you need. Dictate your change, and don't wait for those changes to become dragons. Slay them while they're snakes. So if nobody has anything else to say, any last words from anybody? I feel like everybody gonna say their last words.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, y'all have a good night. Happy Thanksgiving to each and every one
Happy
of you.
Thanksgiving, y'all.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving.
Enjoy great food, great family, great time. And we shall see you on next month with another hot topic on the brand new. I gotta show it one more time. One more time. Bye, y'all. On the King Sport Podcast. We'll see y'all there next month. God
See
bless y'all.
y'all.
See y'all later.